This is a clouds weather alert.
Good, very early Saturday morning. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, giving you a look at that current Doppler radar picture here across the Big Bend region, where there's a severe thunderstorm warning in play at about 4:15 a.m. Seeing this in effect here for areas of Franklin, Jefferson, Leon, and Wakulla counties. Seeing some areas of rotation. I know seeing some wind energy here, maybe trying to get down toward the surface, though. We do have a lack of instability as we get up toward this area, so I know the greater instability toward the south, toward the Gulf of Mexico, but a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued because there is at least a chance that some of this could be getting down toward the surface. It gets to about 33 or so a little while ago at the Tallahassee airport. We're just going to have to keep watching things. We're looking at Wakulla County. Now you see a lot of wind energy above the surface. Just to the east of Crawfordville is probably where some of the strongest of this wind energy could be trying to get down toward the surface there right now. So we're just gonna kind of be watching things, maybe approaching St. Mark's here at this point in time as we kind of try to put things all together. We actually have the echoes here with the downpours and the like. I know some of the overall radar imagery data is going to be a little bit different with the timeline under the axial radar here. The reflectivity is a little bit, it was a little bit behind, though it just caught up now. So again, watching things carefully. Eastern Leon County here as well. Let's just keep looking. I know it's kind of hard to pick some stuff out. We're really close on the radar here, looking just to make sure we don't have any quick spin ups or anything like that. I don't see anything as definitive here at this point, so that's some good news. Kind of an interesting situation. We weren't even getting significant weather advisories, but then we go straight to a severe thunderstorm warning. No tornado possible tag, but we're going to keep watching. There is a small chance of an isolated spin up tornado towards some of these coastal zones here generally, and then as we look toward 7 a.m. and past sunrise, we're going to be watching a threat as we get more toward the Florida Peninsula. But right now, we're breaking in right now at 321. It's a severe thunderstorm complex. Look at our line extending from the Florida A&M to 8 miles east of St. George Island, moving east at 25 miles an hour. We haven't had, that I'm aware of, any reports of damage or necessarily any type of wind gust toward the severe rains, but we're just going to keep watching things as we see Wakulla County, Jefferson County, southeastern Leon, and central Franklin counties included here, Tallahassee, Woodville, Carabel, Monticello, Florida State University, as well as St. Mark, Crawfordville, Florida A&M, Doak Campbell Stadium. Though again, a lot of this already kind of probably more moving away. The worst this from Tallahassee. I don't really seeing even again significant weather advisory conditions as we were seeing this a little while ago, and then we went straight to see a thunderstorm warning. But again, we're watching things here. Community of Wakulla, South Troppy, Lake Bradford, as well as Cody, Wakulla Springs, St. George Island State Park, South City, Tallahassee Airport, Natural Bridge, Live Oak Island there in the Big Bend region. It's one of the severe thunderstorm warning until 4:15. Let me see if there's any power outage data coming on, and I know it's always important to kind of keep a handle on that. See if we have anything noteworthy there in that regard as we're in coverage here during the middle of the night. Having to keep an eye on things. There's a little bit of lightning here. This line will be going off toward the east, and we'll have to just see if this wind can really get down to the surface or not. I'm kind of skeptical. A little surprised we saw this warning get issued, to be quite honest. I wasn't really seeing enough here. I know we saw some stuff right at the coast earlier, some rotation, but I never got any type of warnings for any of that activity. So, again, not sure the instability is getting this far in or not, but this does include some pretty populated areas here with this warning to 4:15. So, just gotta be really being careful here. Just want to make sure we kind of take it seriously just in case here as we're looking at things, as we're looking at the overall scenario right now. I know, just trying to get the latest updates here on things. Those power outage numbers don't look too impressive, at least initially here. As I look, I see 30 customers out in Leon County, 4 in Wakulla, and then 211 in Franklin County, a little bit closer toward the instability here. I know some other instability values might still up better, not necessarily as the surface phase cape though. which is what you're really looking for. So at least we're not getting too much of that. I know a different story, maybe what we're seeing with this event here for most of our area compared to what we're going to see as we look toward that Tuesday where we have the logo red for that Tuesday event. We're very concerned here. We're still going to try to refine the details on what could happen on that Tuesday. But right now, let's go to the broad perspective. Again, looking at things, let's look at the surface-based Cape here. You have to look toward the Gulf. We have a lot more of that. So now that could be an issue for the Florida Peninsula later on. I know some other views of energy really do so. Some of that here trying to get closer to war where we have the storm Axens. That could be a factor in them issuing this. But really, the surface-based Cape is what you're generally looking for. And we're not seeing a lot, if any of that, really up there right now toward the Big Bend. I'm getting 0 here joules per kilogram on our system here, pretty much all across that warning. So not sure if this is really reaching down to the surface, quite honestly, with these severe conditions. But with the population density east side of Tallahassee and then east side of Crawfordville, thought we'd jump in here. If they were going to issue a warning like this, I would have kind of thought maybe they would have done it a little bit earlier. Maybe they had some reports. I haven't seen anything on my end yet, but maybe they had some type of report here to justify that's maybe a wind sensor here, picking a gust up a little bit higher than maybe what they were expecting there toward FSU or something there toward the Love Building where the Weather Service is located in Tallahassee. It's definitely possible that they had some justification for this here, and we'll find that out here in short order if that is the case. But in terms of actual data coming in, of course, we're looking at the radar and issuing this because there's that squall line look. We're seeing this in the model and just didn't think we had a lot of energy here to get this activity down toward the surface. But we'll just continue to watch, continue to track here this morning. Again, let me check to see if we have the city of Tallahassee. I'm just going to check because this will update pretty quickly on us here. If we have anything in terms of information, looks like, yeah, only 18 customers out in Tallahassee, so I'm kind of skeptical this is actually verifying. But you never know. We could get maybe a surge of that energy in there, and that could cause problems. And I do think we'll have some issues toward the Florida Peninsula to some degree later today because we will have more of the energy in play. We'll have to see how much rotational parameters we have in play down here. But this is after 7 a.m. from around Levy County there, southern Alachua, over through Putnam, St. John's, Flagler counties. You have a rest further south of that as well, maybe a little bit greater in there. We'll see with some action that could be a little bit more robust. So you see a tornado risk there, your wind risk. We'll just have to monitor that here as we do have some of that activity coming on in toward the picture. I know the supercell composite values are quite a bit higher as you look further out as well. So it could be aligning some. And there's significant tornado parameters. You see some of that. Take that off real quick. We go to the infrared satellite here. You do see a more organized area of convection. So that could be something to watch for the Florida Peninsula later this morning here. We haven't had any other warnings except for the one we've come on for. That's our first warning here of this event for our area or for the state of Florida. Per se, I know we had one tornado warning yesterday morning around southeast Texas. And that was the only tornado warning we've had so far this year. And that's the only warning we had up until we had this warning here with this overall setup. I know we have other systems that are going to be coming in. The next one will be a lot more impactful here for many of us. But we wanted to jump in here just in case here that things are verifying. Again, there could be a little bit of wind problems here setting it up for some of our different communities. So just got to keep that in mind. It does look a little more organized here on this mode in a way. I mean, and you could get a quick spin up here as well if we were able to get this down toward the surface possibly. So again, we're just going to have to keep monitoring here. Again, it looks impressive when you look at radar, you're thinking, and the velocity, you're thinking, oh, it probably is verifying, but it's not sure if it's actually really getting down to the surface or not, the worst of this activity. So again, let me see if we have any questions or comments here this morning as you guys are tuning on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and Twitch. I know I'm just trying to give you guys the very latest here. We thank you so much for watching. As let me go ahead and go on over here toward our other view in terms of just the different platforms that we're on. Facebook, Casey Cloud WX, Facebook Cloud Weather, Twitter /X at Cloud Casey, YouTube at Cloud Weather, Twitch Cloud Weather, and cloudweather.com. So again, just thanks so much for everybody tuning in here this morning. We're just gonna go ahead and keep you guys up to date here on what is going on. And we're gonna go ahead right now and see here what is happening. We zoom on in just a little bit tighter. Again, you see areas, he says choppy there, and around Wakulla Beach, St. Mark's being impacted. Getting toward Jefferson County here, a little more rural. Okay, so we're being told here right now that they're continuing this warning. And they're saying at 3:40, the weather service in Tallahassee is tracking severe thunderstorms located along the line extending from 90 miles west of Monticello to 14 miles south of Carabel, moving east at 30 miles an hour. They're saying 60-mile-an-hour gusts. Talking about Tallahassee, Woodville, Monticello, St. Mark's, Crawfordville, Wakulla, Soptropi, Cody, Shadeville, Wakulla Springs, Panacea, Drifton, Natural Bridge, Live Oak Island, St. Teresa, Bald Point, Hyde Park, and Osceola. So again, it's a thunderstorm warning. Talking about those damaging gusts here. A possibility as based on radar indications, but the hail threat likely not to severe ranges here. Not really seeing that in this type of setup. The hail potential really come to fruition, it wouldn't seem. But again, we're just continuing to give you guys the latest updates here as the situation does progress. It's all about protecting you, your friends, and your family. So again, I'm going to go ahead and see what else we might have here. I'm just going to go ahead and look to see. I'm going to see if we have any weather information, another source that I have at my disposal right now. Again, I just have a lot of accent here in terms of at least that heavy rain coming down, but not necessarily seeing a situation here where we're really getting anything that looks too overwhelming at this point in time. So again, we're just going to keep looking at things here, keep trying to give you guys the updates here. And if this warning were to get let go early, we'd wrap it up here early. But right now, just stick with it here for a little bit. See if this warning gets extended towards some of those Adalia areas there toward like Perry and Taylor County. I know some of those areas out there, it's so hard. Even Madison to some degree there. They're hit pretty hard as well. A lot of damage there from Adalia back at the end of August there in that cleanup process. Roy being a pretty long one as we look out towards some of the different communities. But I know as we watch this here, you're probably wondering how is this going to impact areas maybe further toward the I-75 corridor. Well, we could have some rogue warnings. I kind of doubt we're going to have a whole bunch because we don't have the instability really up here to get this to really come down to the surface. Haven't really seen the power outage numbers go up like you generally would in a severe thunderstorm setup. Quite honestly, we just have to keep watching just in case. But we're just not seeing a whole bunch yet, and in a population density like what we just have seen here be impacted. It looks more like a significant advisory situation to me at this moment, but didn't want to take any chances here. Thought we'd jump on here, per se, on the live streams here to give you guys the latest what is happening. As we'll go ahead and get back down here. I mean, there is some interesting velocity activity per se. If we could get some green and red to come together and get to surface base, we could have a problem pretty quickly here. So you just never know. You never know here. As we look, we'll watch to see if this kind of tracks on off here. I'll bad this up just a bit and go. Now you can kind of see, we'll be watching here to see if this holds together. And just kind of stay in tune. I know you have to watch the word like Dixie and Levy County possibly there as you're looking, because there's a chance maybe that gets more surface based as you're looking there, as we're watching the Doppler scans. Again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect right now until 4:15 this morning. So for another 30 minutes here as we're looking out there toward the west. I know that threat as we look toward Tuesday is going to be much more robust here, it looks like. Even some flooding potential there, looking higher with that as well. I know Weather Service, they're watching things. Storm Prediction Center mentioning strong tornadoes of possibility as we're looking further north toward the west at least, if not even getting toward our area here as well on Tuesday. So that's why we're in alert mode. Our logo's not red for this. It's a situation that we're giving you a heads up for Tuesday where it's really going to be important to take those tornado precautions. But obviously we're not on in the middle of the night here to talk about Tuesday for the most part. We're on. The reason we're on right now here is to talk about what's happening right now, and that is a severe thunderstorm warning here for Franklin, Jefferson, Leon, McCullough, portions of those zones at least until 4:15 a.m. We're not seeing any tornadic activity right now. Can't completely rule it out here, but it's a pretty low chance. Again, our threat on Tuesday looks much more significant here for our area at least. I do think we may get few tornado warnings towards central Florida maybe later this morning. I feel like there may be enough of an overlap here in some of the parameters that this pattern would kind of favor that a little bit more. When we get a few tornado warnings maybe towards central Florida later this morning. That's my guess. You never really know, but I know in terms of that situation down there, and then just in terms of what could happen for you on Tuesday. Remember, stay tuned for the latest. Have multiple ways to receive alerts, and then if a tornado warning this, you seek such and such a sturdy building. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Protect yourself from flying debris. Have potential by putting on that bicycle helmet, football helmet, baseball helmet, even as we're getting into toward the early January months. I know college baseball not too far away here. The early January days we're at right now, but I know college baseball is in February there, and it really gets going in earnest. But again, just continuing to watch things here as you look at those safety tips and mobile homes really aren't the best places to be when you have these type of situations that we're looking ahead for potentially on Tuesday. But right now I have this fifth thunderstorm morning. Some folks, I know it's kind of an odd hour for, but I guess it's not out of the question. We could have some folks headed back to Tallahassee for those classes here at the universities here as we're looking ahead. I know in the timeline, I believe FSU comes back there, starts the semester on Monday. As I do recall looking at some things, but again, just continuing to watch things here. You can see looking there east of Crawfordville right now. Again, this is not something. If it was surface based, would be a lot more concerned. I just don't know how much of this is really reaching down. We're not seeing a bunch of lightning at all now. I know we had a little bit of that popping up earlier. Let me double check. We do have a few of the strikes showing up in other mode. So maybe it's just a little bit of an issue there of not popping it in, but we're really not getting a whole bunch of lightning strikes in here even. Sometimes you can still get problems without lightning, don't get me wrong. But the tornado years ago, and but also without any cloud to ground lightning. So still got to be kind of careful. Just you don't want to lay your guard down here per se. It's just, don't think this is the most overwhelming type of scenario that we've ever seen. Now Tuesday, again, could be a different story here, so we really have to pay attention toward that Tuesday here in the timeline. But as we look past 7 a.m., this is the official wind risk here across the state, and we have that in play. Tornado risk right now confined toward the west coast. I wouldn't be surprised if, based on some of the modeling I've seen, at least at times, it's picked up on a threat maybe extending further across the state. At least enough to be marginal here, if not yet a slide included in there at some point there in terms of a little bit of that geography being covered in that yellow zone. But that'd be down mainly south of our area. If we got the yellow at least, I think that'd be south of the area. But you see Levy, Marion, Alachua, Putnam, St. John's, Flagler. Past 7 a.m., we have a few of the counties further west. You're not going to see it on here because it's the timeline after, but a few of these counties further off toward the west and the marginal risk, and that's the type of threat we're seeing right now, a marginal type of threat here in play. I'm going to switch the color table real quick to our winter mode here, and see how we do have some wintry weather. I know there's a potential for, and we're really seeing some of that try to come into play of freezing rain there as we look toward parts of North Carolina and Virginia here. They're seeing that danger. I know winter's set up here. You see some snow in parts of Indiana. Illinois had some around St. Louis. Nothing too overwhelming, but still nowhere they haven't had a whole bunch here lately. I know they're really looking maybe toward maybe some of this action here in the Northeast where they haven't had a lot of snow in a while. That's been kind of a big national weather story as the low pressure comes into play. Going to have even a stronger low next week, though, which could really promote more severe weather activity on the south side of things. And then another low pressure here, maybe for late in the week. But let's get past this one, get past the second one, which looks to be the most significant at this point, before we really get too far into that third one here. That second one could be a real doozy here in terms of real problems, in terms of severe weather for our area. So we got to get past this right now, though. There is still a threat of some danger at this very moment here as we're looking toward parts of Franklin, Jefferson, Leon, and Ocala County. That's why we're on the air in the middle of the night here on this early Saturday, per se. Very early morning, I guess you could look at it that way here, too. Obviously, you could get up very early, get some things done. I know some folks, there's some different things going on toward Central Florida in terms of some runs and the like there. I believe, I better double check this, but I know weather apparently has moved up some different things in terms of some Disney marathon type activities here. So again, the weather can definitely have an impact here on things, and it can definitely influence things here as we're looking. I mean, but even then, some folks are already going to be up at this point in time anyway to go out to work very early on. So again, it's just a one-man band here. Let me just make sure we're kind of getting this right here. I know, definitely always interesting to be on top and important to be on top of the weather here. I know it looks like the Walt Disney World Half Marathon course cut there, based on reporting from the OFL TV in Orlando over weather concerns. I think it started at 4:45 this morning, so that's the reason for some folks to be up right now. But for the most part, people aren't going to look here at the overall situation here in terms of the timeline. It's still kind of the late night here, especially Saturday morning versus the very early morning. But anyway, again, we're watching this warning. Let's get back to the normal color table, take off some of our low pressure areas there. We have this warning in play here, this yellow box. Again, we haven't seen much, if any, in the way of reporting out of this zone here to get me to be too concerned. But let's go ahead and just see here what's going on. I'm going to check one of our other systems here. It's about giving you guys the very latest here in terms of things like power outages. Let me just kind of see what we might have. Again, just bear with me here, as I know some of you might be seeing those flashes out the window. Maybe you're watching on your cell phone here, something like that, as you heard the thunder, and you see seeing some of those flashes there out your maybe your bedroom window, something like that here early this morning. So again, I'm just checking. I really don't see many power outages at all. I'm just going to keep checking, see here. Oh, we just got a few to come into play in Wakulla now, so, okay, maybe we're seeing some delayed reporting and things are starting to turn a little more surface-based. Let's see. Looks like Talquin numbers, according to Paradise.us, have gone up some now. So see if that's still the case. Sometimes there's a little bit of delay by the time this open one system. It's actually a scenario where things are starting to drop. Let's see if those numbers are still staying up according to the Talquin electric power outage map here. Again, you see temperatures, by the way, when I immediately going to turn totally behind this line. You see 65 still Tallahassee, 58 up toward Bainbridge if I go ahead and zoom out the map. But again, I'm just trying to give you guys the very latest here this morning. And you can kind of see here how we do that progression. Ultimately, it is going to impact areas further over. I still can't overachieve sometime. I just don't see a lot of energy coming into play here at this point compared to what we could see with the even more dynamic setup on Tuesday here. So we're going to stay on top of it, obviously, and give you guys the latest as it is necessary here from the Weather Center. So again, looking like, okay, we do have 2,242 customers in the dark, according to the Talquin power outage map right now. So looks like we have most of those in Woodville, okay. 1,957 customers, all of those, it looks like toward that substation there on Woodville, then 100% in the dark, so something might have occurred there in terms of some extra wind push, it seems. So Hilliard Deville 257 customer to the dark is the next highest percentage, but only about 9%. They have all 1,957 customers on the Woodville substation without electricity at this point, it would seem. Let's kind of look at that segment of the line and to see if there's something that might have been suspicious with it here, whether it's just the wind energy or maybe some tornado activity. So I already have it backed up a few minutes here, so let's go ahead and look at things here. And there is a little bit of a twisting there when you think about it. I mean, I back it up even further there, you kind of see a little bit of a turning, and depending on where the overall situation is being tracked, there is a little bit of something in there. I gotta wonder a little bit if there's a little bit of weak rotation even in that. Again, not sure we could really get something down too definitively, but I don't see anything in terms of debris. It could have just been a strong push of wind there, maybe with a little bit of a wind type of segment here setting on up. That's more favorable for some damaging conditions down toward the surface. So, again, just continuing to watch things here, continuing to give you guys the very latest. Let's just see here what we might have on that current view. We see some maybe twisting there around Wakena to Lamont. Could lose some power there, and I'll be curious to see if they extend that warning. I mean, I hadn't had much until I got that report out of Woodville where Talquin is showing all the customers out of that substation in Woodville being without electricity. So that's kind of concerning, obviously. So hopefully that's just kind of an isolated thing where it was just maybe one tree limb or tree fell there to cause that to occur. But again, I'm just going to continue to watch things here, continue to track. So again, let me just keep looking here. I'm just going to keep checking things here. As I look, it looks like just the area there, definitely seeing those outages there in play. Always important to turn your devices up here just in case for these type of scenarios that could take place. A little bit of lightning showing up here on Lamont as well. Again, we covered 62 counties. If you're wondering why we're on for stuff out here toward the west, where the Jacksonville stations, Gainesville stations wouldn't be on, Tallahassee stations probably, hopefully have at least a crawl running here. If not, cutting in a little bit, putting stuff on social media. But we cover 62 counties here at Clouds Weather. We're in Bradford County, but we cover that toward the west here. I graduated from FSU there, and very familiar with that area out there toward the Big Bend region. And you can kind of see what we're talking about here, just in terms of the geography. It's always important to know your county as well. We're going to have to know our counties maybe very, very carefully here for that Tuesday event here. Might be something here, even if you're just new to the area, we might have not a lot of time to focus on every warning. You want to know where you are in relation to this map here and all the different county names. This map available, and you can just pause this here now, or if not, if you're not able to do that, maybe then you just go to clutter.com /live, and you'll be able to see this map available there as well. So, and just something to kind of know in terms of, if we're talking about a certain area here, get your bearings. Bradford's, of course, where Stark is, though, where we're based at. That's the one that's highlighted on this map. That's the only reason it's highlighted, because that's where we're based here. But again, clutter.com /live, you can get this map there to get prepared for the Tuesday event here. But even now, it's helpful as well, where this warning is in play for parts of Leon, Jefferson, as well as Wakulla, and it looks like back toward Franklin. Still a little bit of that zone still included at this point, though a lot of that's kind of moved away from there. And one thing I'm noticing here, it could be cause for concern, possibly, here later on in our viewing area. Let me go ahead and zoom back out a little bit. And you can see some of the stuff down here. This could have a little bit better chance of having instability down toward the surface with it. So I have to watch that as we look toward southern parts of Taylor County later on this morning. So again, I'm just going to keep looking at things here in the Weather Center, as it's all about protecting everybody out there. And we'll just keep on watching the different algorithms here, the different radar echoes as the situation does continue to evolve. So 4 o'clock straight up now. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in play here for parts of the Big Bend region in Florida for the 15 minutes or so. I know we don't have any tornado warnings, any watches here, but a warning means something in terms of this case damage and winds. Those could be occurring here in parts of our area right now that could knock out and maybe have knocked out some power toward Woodville there. That general area in the Big Bend region this morning. So again, just trying to give you guys the very latest here. Again, thanks so much for watching here as we're checking everything that we have here at our disposal, all the different resources here. As I know, this line will be pushing further east. I don't know how many warnings we're going to get further east here, quite honestly, because I don't know how much energy we're going to have. But it seems like we got some of this wind down toward the surface here as we were looking out toward areas there around Woodville anyway. So that's cause for concern. May have caused some damage there in terms of some power outages being noted. We have a special marine warning for winds to about 60 out here in the Gulf. So this stuff could be a little bit more concerning, maybe an hour or two as we're looking toward Taylor, and then this could be toward Dixie County. I mean, remember Horseshoe Beach, they got here, they're still in the rebuilding process. If you get some severe winds or a quick spin up tornado down there, if we get enough energy, that's kind of an area that'd be a little more favorable, possibly the energy area there that we've been showing you guys here definitely could be more of an issue down there. In fact, and now you can kind of maybe make it out some here. And I know I'm still kind of trying to update here, but you can see some of this energy out here, but kind of, I know I zoomed in too much, but that's the color you're looking for on there. And it kind of is, maybe it's just a slight bit behind, but you're looking where you have some of the lightning here. So right in there, you're kind of looking to see if so that'll be aligned with that activity as that kind of moves on in there. Because toward the land, we haven't really seen as much, but still maybe some wind issues. But I would expect maybe a little bit better chance of wind issues there toward Dixie County, Taylor, maybe Levy County here this morning. So again, the threat's not overwhelming. It's pretty low. I mean, almost as low as you can get. I mean, it is technically with just having a threat here in play compared to what we're expecting on Tuesday here tonight. But it's Saturday here. It's January 6, 2024. And I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. So again, let's go ahead and see here what we have in terms of the infrared satellite. I'm just going to go ahead and keep looking here. You can see the colder cloud tops. And you can definitely see even colder ones that are southwest of Tampa. Gotta wonder if we could have some nasty weather later this morning down there with the instability. If that acts in there really can kind of be maybe holding together here and staying along there and pushing, we have the pattern push that instability on in there. That could be an issue towards central and even south Florida here. Maybe later this morning toward the lunch hour. That super show composite information is somewhat concerning there. That's again more of an issue south area here versus this right here is just on the very northern fringes of maybe some energy. Not as much surface base, but definitely seeing some energy in the overall setup. This is another look at that there. So this shows some energy there. But again, surface base not so much toward the Big Bend. Starting to see a little bit, 34 joules per kilogram right at the coast here in Wakulla/Franklin counties. But again, I just continue to give you the latest. I know we don't have that wind shift right behind because as I go ahead and switch this on over here in terms of taking the pressure off, I mean, just kind of trying to see. I was trying to see if we could get some wind arrows on. It looks like they're not coming up this morning. For whatever reason. Let me make sure I have this set right. Yeah, it's not coming up that information, but generally we can watch those wind shifts here, but it wouldn't happen right away, as I'm kind of alluding to. So again, looking at things, I know always interesting to look at the METARs. Maybe some wintry weather in northeast Georgia. I know we had winter weather advisory, I believe, in on point for that area the last check. So maybe some of that winter weather, some of those higher elevated areas there. But right now we're in El Nino here, that pattern. And these type of low pressure is what you'd expect here, really more significant ones, even like what we're expecting toward Tuesday. And it looks like eventually we're going to switch back over to La Nina, and that's a situation where we could be seeing things that are more active in the tropics. We kind of got an unfortunate situation. We had the worst system in the Atlantic in terms of U.S. impact there right here toward our area. Most of the areas weren't impacted really like they had been maybe in some of those La Nina seasons. But we had our impact in El Nino season where we have more severe weather in the winter months. That's a more likely situation. Kind of getting the bad side of the coin here as they're looking at things in both situations. So, again, just continuing to track here this morning. Staying with it right now. See if we get an update on this warning. That's what we're on right now. It's a thunderstorm warning here for parts of the area. Again, parts of Jefferson, parts of McCulloch counties here. I know as we get towards sunrise, I'll have to watch to make sure things don't get too crazy here. That could have a little bit of influence here on the energy levels. I know maybe kind of getting this out of here early enough in most of our zones, though, to kind of prohibit that from being too big of a deal. Or maybe towards South Florida, it's a little bit bigger factor. You see the winds we have, wind advisory information, high surf advisory out toward Gulf Coast area. No updates on the wind advisory. So coastal Dixie, coastal Franklin, coastal Jefferson, coastal Taylor, coastal McCulloch till 7 a.m. So we're going to watch that. We're watching this. Definitely looks like some concern here. Possibly trying to set up that moves towards southern Taylor County later on. The areas in northern parts of Dixie County could get impacted. Possibly as well if we get the overlap just right here. There is enough of that wind shear here in play that could be an issue. I know trying to watch things up to Panama City view there earlier don't have that radar working, so weren't able to get the best look at some of these as we were getting things out necessarily when those were these storms further on back toward the west. But I know that could be an issue toward New Orleans on Tuesday. Really very early Tuesday. We're going to have a nocturnal tornado threat there. And the radar, they're relocating that actually. The Weather Service is. So that could be a problem there in terms of not being able to see things very well. So we're going to have to pay attention to something we're going to have to just kind of look at, though, maybe. As you see a new warning popping up now until 5:30. It could be a situation where we're really down with things. That could be a little bit trickier. Hopefully we can get maybe a situation where Weather Service has access to some maybe possibly TV station radar and the like in that area. Not 100% sure on that. That'll be something that might be imperative for Tuesday, that overnight Monday to Tuesday event. But this new warning is popping up for area 5:30 now. So this is a new one now for Western Lafayette, East Central McCulloch, Jefferson, Taylor, and Madison counties. It looks like at about 407, severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from 6 miles east of Monticello to 33 miles southeast of St. George Island, moving east at 30 miles an hour. So Monticello, Mayo, Perry, over toward the Steinhatchee area, Madison, St. Mark's, Greenville, Lee, Pineland, Jug Island, even in toward Scanlon there. You have Hanson, the Perry Airport region, San Pedro Junction, Hampton Springs, and Mosley Hall. So these are some of the areas hit hard by Idalia here. Under this new warning till 5:30, no tornado possible tag at this point. I know it's a situation maybe because we're not sure how much is the surface base, but nonetheless a warning coming into play here until 5:30 now for radar indicated winds that could be getting upward about 60 miles an hour. So again, something to be mindful of here as the situation does progress on us here this morning. So again, the stuff starting to kind of, in terms of the warning number, get a little bit higher here, with this being the second one, but the geography of them getting a little bit further north, maybe further north than what we were expecting here, starting to maybe edge on the side of maybe this overachieving a little bit. Not sure though, because again, not sure how much damage we're going to have here in the wake of things, or if we're just kind of seeing some stuff that we're really not getting maybe damaging winds officially with here, but it's just the nighttime hours having to err on the side of caution since we got some of those power outages reported, like according to Talquin there around Woodville. We had a lot of folks in the dark there. It looked like, I mean, everyone in that substation, based on what I was seeing there just a little while ago. So again, just trying to give you the latest all about protecting you, your friends, and your family. Again, a new severe thunderstorm warning being issued until 5:30 here this morning, again, for parts of Jefferson as well as Fayette, Madison, Taylor, and McCulloch counties. So again, this new warning here in play, and you just gotta be watching things. I know none of the major sites have shown winds too strong here at this point, but we just have to be kind of monitoring here, mindful of what could happen in the overall situation, just trying to see exactly here what could happen just towards some of these different communities here. So again, you just see our Doppler radar perspective right now, the two yellow boxes. I'm going to go ahead and take off the actual radar reflectivity here at this point in time so you can get a better look at those. Again, no tornado warnings, anything like that, so that's good news. But that could always change here. That could always change. We're just going to keep on tracking things, keep on checking here for the very latest as the situation does progress on us here. Now, we're trying to effort everything we can in terms of all the different viewpoints and the like here in the Weather Center. I might go ahead and try to get some cameras up toward Madison County now, since we're starting to get this warning, get even further up there past I-10. Again, I'm just trying to give you guys the very latest here on exactly what is going on here in the ward areas like around Osceola and the like here. So just bear with me. I'll try to get some of those views up here in just a moment. As that new warning till 5:30 now for areas there. I mean, you're looking toward the Monticello I-10 eastbound west area. Looks like some pretty nasty weather showing up right now. So again, just got to be really careful, really cognizant of what's going on here. Definitely, I know it's the middle of the night, but there are a few folks out. They're going to be hard to see on the views, but still inclement conditions. I know going back several years, this time of year, we had a situation where things were of the wintry variety across parts of I-10, but not necessarily what we're seeing here now. Definitely not any wintry weather toward our region or anywhere close with this setup, but again, I just continuing to watch things here. Let's go ahead and check on some of our different views here. I know, let me just see what we might have. And it's kind of hard to make out a lot of stuff right now, so I'm kind of checking. And there's a flash, so let's go ahead. I mean, I'm probably just a lightning flash, but when those happen, these are helpful views, but sometimes you kind of get stuck on having to stick on this a while and not see much. So we'll pull it up here. Let's see, you can see some folks maybe with flashers on and the like. Definitely the inclement conditions here this morning as you're looking in the middle of the night. And you can see how it's pretty dark out there on the roads without the lights even. So just got to be extra careful out there. So the thunderstorm warning I'm put till 5:30 as you're looking toward parts of Jefferson, Lafayette, Madison, Taylor, McCulloch. That's the newest news of the National Weather Service in Tallahassee here, as these conditions definitely look pretty nasty. See some lightning flashes there. Of course, the wind damage potential as well. The warnings have been issued, but again, a second warning here coming out since we started this stream. Obviously, the first one about to go away here at 4:15, but that second one going for an hour and 15 minutes or so. So you just gotta be kind of careful here as we're looking at things in the Weather Center. Again, we're just trying to give you guys the very latest here on what's happening, the radar indicated wind damage concern here this morning. I know it's hard to make out a lot of stuff on here, so let's go ahead and move away from this shot for now. But again, there's our one warning. The other warning just going away here at 4:15. But again, just trying to give you the latest. It's just a one-man band, so kind of have to figure out where to go here in terms of some of the best views here at points on my own here as I'm talking to you guys in the weather center. But again, this is a Florida thing right now. I'm not getting any of our Georgia counties, but this is a severe thunderstorm warning here until about 5:30. It's a very long fused one, quite honestly. So depending on what we see here, if we don't see a whole bunch here, we may wrap it up for a little bit. But these are areas that were impacted by Idalia, so it wouldn't take maybe as much to get some wind damage here or just cause more problems here in comparison to what has really happened here in the past several months. Back in August, there at the end of August, we had that very serious hurricane come across. So this isn't gonna maybe a situation where it has to take this high wind to kind of maybe fix some temporary things that have been really done to repair some things there in toward that part of the region. So again, you're talking about Perry, though, Madison, into this morning, Mayo, there in Lafayette County again. We're just going to keep on watching things, keep on tracking. Just try to give you guys the very latest here with this warning. I know we're going to be watching toward the Gulf of Mexico here. It would seem this stuff might have a better chance of getting down here and causing more problems as this moves maybe toward. There is a Dixie County later that's moving in toward Taylor further down, and maybe the same warning before that time runs out here on the warnings. That makes things kind of tricky as well here. As we kind of look at things, you can see it's still pretty far out there though right now over the Gulf of Mexico, but things for a while weren't looking too impressive. We're really starting to heat up here pretty quickly. I know the reflectivity modeling was so on a squall line kind of form. We were wondering how much is to get down toward the surface. I wasn't really thinking it would get down there too much in terms of maybe getting too much wind damage. Storm Prediction Center had already kind of trimmed the risk back some. I didn't include all these areas that are in this warning, but unfortunately it seems this is guiding a little bit further up toward I-10 now with this potential here, at least what the Tallahassee office thinks could be happening here based on some of the power outages that we saw. I was looking behind the scenes toward Talquin information around Woodville there a little while ago. So again, I just have to continue to watch things here. I know sometimes our marginal risk days really overachieve. It's something that's just how things go around this part of the country, it seems like, from time to time. As you look here, I mean, it could be more just expectation versus reality type of ratio, but still, as you're looking at things, you can see here around Greenville in Madison County, you see Sherman's there as we look at the straight line winds. The sun winds are more 40 to 50 in our velocity, but you still never know what could be happening here as we're just kind of monitoring things here in the weather center. So again, you see around I-10 there. I know some folks might be headed back to the universities there and toward Tallahassee, Tallahassee Community College and the like, depending on the actual class schedule there. Depending on when some folks may come back, a little bit different type of schedule than others. But again, as we look here, you see around Perry, we're just going to keep watching here, keep tracking. Again, the velocity is somewhere 40 to 50. I do see a couple there, maybe 55 within this. So that's moving towards Sadie Grove there over the next few minutes. Again, pretty rural areas here. We'll have to watch some of this though toward Perry as we're looking. You see, it looks like US 98 in there. We'll look at some of our different products and make sure there's no debris. Don't really see anything that stands out at this point. Anyway, our GDR product, not showing a whole bunch of upscale growth, but it shows some more down here. And that adds to the point we have to watch more for some more favorable conditions of some severe weather across city later on this morning. So that could be something for you guys to watch down there. You're hit by Idalia pretty hard, especially obviously toward the coast here. So got to be kind of mindful of that here this morning as we look, as we give you guys the very latest. Again, I'm just trying to let you guys know what's happening here. It's 4:20 in the morning, so I know not too many folks will be watching 4:20 a.m. on this Saturday, but you're being really woken up here by the rumbles of thunder and the like. We thank you so much for tuning in and trusting me here again. So the thunderstorm warning in play right now for parts of Jefferson, Lafayette, as well as Wakulla, Taylor, and Madison County for another hour and 10 minutes. It's a pretty long fuse warning, not a tornado warning, so this is so long fused, and we're not maybe seeing just extreme population density or extreme signs of wind potential. We may wrap to cover it up here in a little bit. I'm just going to kind of hold here a little longer to see if we start seeing some more issues, because it's still possible, even if you get some damage like what we had in Woodville, it's possible at least. I don't really know the details. I mean, it's not out of the question that could just be an issue with lightning or one tree, a renegade tree, something like that coming on down. But again, Monticello, Mayo, Perry, Steinhatchee, Madison, St. Mark's, Greenville, Lee, Pineland, Dug Island, Scanlon, Hampton, San Pedro, Junction, Hampton Springs, Mosley Hall under this warning. I know this is a tornado warning. If that was the case, we'd be on wall to wall here. We would keep the same going anyway the whole time, for sure. But it's a thunderstorm warning situations. At least have a little bit more discretion. Tornado warning situations have been on for every tornado warning storm to move through our area over the last 4 years, though. And in our area is the 62 counties as shown here. So again, there's that look at that viewpoint there. We're in Bradford County, but this severe thunderstorm warning that does not have a tornado possible tag officially at this point. It does include areas of Jefferson, Lafayette. There's are looking east of Tallahassee per se and south, as well as Madison, Taylor, and areas of Wakulla County. They're east of Crawfordville right now. Really moving away from St. Mark's. Even Wakulla County probably get trimmed out here pretty soon. So let's go ahead and keep looking. Saturday morning here per se, or late Friday night. Just hope everybody's safe on the roads here as we're looking at things as we go ahead and see here a little bit of interesting reflectivity views here coming out of Taylor County slash a little bit of Jefferson County there included as well. I know if you were with us last summer, summer of 2023, that time range anyway, we were on that one night there. I believe it was maybe a Thursday night going into a Friday, something like that there, whenever it was. We were on for hour after hour after hour there with tornado warnings in the same area. I'm not going to have a situation like that here. We might have a situation on Tuesday that's really significant, though, even maybe more significant and something like that here in terms of just widespread coverage here of potential tornadic activity. But again, we're here right now with you to guide you through it. Again, it's a thunderstorm warning in play. Again, initially we came on for the 1 to 4:15, but the new one, the current yellow box is in play till 5:30 here this morning. 5:30 is the expiration here for parts of our area. So again, look in Jefferson, Lafayette, Madison, Taylor, and Wakulla counties. So that's 5 counties here within our region here this morning underneath this severe thunderstorm warning. That's what we're on the air right now to protect everybody, to protect you, protect your friends, protect your family. So again, I'm going to keep looking here. New updates at this point. Let's check. I'm talking about from the Weather Service side of things. And let me go ahead and check here our power outage maps and the like. And I'm going to go ahead and keep looking here. See what we have from that vantage point, from that viewpoint here. Just bear with me here as we load some of that on in, but I'm not seeing quite as much maybe green and red divergence here, but it could just be the angle the radar's hitting things at this point, so keep that in mind. But we're just going to keep looking at things. I know. Let me go ahead and check here our energy values to see if some of these have tried to get their way a little bit closer toward the coastline here. I know. We're just going to keep looking. We're just going to keep looking at things here. You can see some of these cells out here do some rotation. Don't see a whole bunch of energy even there, though. Some of it kind of trails, which could just be, it could actually be kind of trying to catch up to this some here. So that could be a little bit of thing. I generally think it maybe keeping pace some. So it could be the overall pattern. Some of them might almost kind of send things trail behind some. So that could kind of help limit things too overall. in terms of getting down toward the surface, though I have to wander down to the south. It seems like things are right in line, and they definitely looks like that could be the case down there, and that could be an issue. Not gonna be maybe just completely overwhelming, hopefully, but could be at least an issue for South Florida, Central Florida later this morning in the afternoon. Maybe a slight risk type of upgrade situation. Maybe get some type of watch or at least a few tornado warnings here down there, more about south of our area. I see McCulloch County and Leon County. That must just be the Talquin information there. Let me refresh Talquin. I'm looking at Paradise.us and Talquin both. Let's see what Talquin says. See if there's outages. No, they're still showing there. So I was hoping they'd get restored real quick, but no. We're talking about Woodville there. Everybody in that substation area on Talquin still in the dark. So that's cause for concern there. And that's a little over 1,000. McCulloch, a little over 1,000 in Leon based on where that's located at, zip code wise. That's 32305, it looks like. Zip code, 52% of the customers in the dark there. On Talquin, 32327 there, about 10%. So, but Woodville substation, that's everybody. So that's a lot there. About 2,000 customers are so in the dark on that. So just gonna see if that gets restored over the next little bit. Again, we're watching out toward, you kind of see the bow echo per se on this kind of thing. This pattern that's hitting like the summer where, I mean, that stuff would come and go anyway, but you could have a lot of energy in play. This is kind of the opposite. Instead of having a lot of energy and not really the wind shear, you have a lot of type of wind shear, but not so much the energy. So sometimes this stuff doesn't get down to the surface. Sometimes they're not going to issue warnings for this, but I've seen enough with the wind damage concern to have some concern. No, I haven't seen any observations that have been too crazy on my end so far. Again, I'm doing coverage here as possible that things could be coming out, but they haven't sent out any local storm reports to really describe that here at this point. The weather service in Tallahassee. So again, we're looking at things. You see a little bit of wind enhancement there around US 98. You see Madison. There's a little bit of wind enhancement up there, but again, further from the coast, I just wonder how much of this wind is getting down to the surface here in this setup. You have a lot of rain though, heavy rain, so be careful on the roads this morning. Can definitely have accidents in this type of pattern. It's a Saturday morning, which kind of a little bit different time frame per se. This is a weekday morning, be a little more concerned probably because you'd have more folks that are getting out and about. Generally not too many people having to get out and about this morning, but I know there's a few, so just be careful out there as we're looking at things. Again, you have Perry in there, you have Mayo in there this morning. This is a very long fuse warning for the level, maybe intensity this could be down toward the surface here. But again, I'm just gonna continue to watch, continue to track. Generally a situation here. I know we have the Idalia impacted areas, but we are getting some wind reports in now. So let's go ahead and see what we have here. Again, 42 mile an hour gust at 3:20 a.m. Some of these delayed reports, Cell Point there and McCulloch County, a Mesonet site. 47 mile an hour gust at FAMU at 3:20. That might be what initiated the warning here in general. That was at 3:20 a.m. FAMU at 47 mile an hour gust. Then we had a 41 mile an hour gust around Appalachia Bay there, Panacea Channel at 3:54, and then 4:10 a Mesonet station there. The McCulloch St. Mark's Lighthouse area gust to 47. So that kind of tells me I think this is more significant with advisory type of winds, but you still could have isolated areas of wind damage here. So you got to keep that in mind. And some of these areas are vulnerable because of what happened during Idalia here. But I'm back this up for a sec. I want to see when that other warning was issued initially here. So it was initially issued, I should say, at 3:21. So yeah, I think that gust there at FAMU might have triggered things. Not 100% sure, but gust to 47 there, but 60 is really where the threshold is for severe. 58 technically, but kind of round up here with the warnings. But 58 is what you're actually looking for, per se, for severe, based on some different conversions and the like there. So that's kind of storyline as we're looking again, tracking things here. We're just gonna give you guys the latest updates here for those of you who are tuning in. I see our wind arrows came back now in other mode, so that was something that I guess got restored pretty quick. You can kind of see here how things kind of sit around here at points in the overall process here. You see kind of low pressure setup even. It's kind of helpful to see, as that's going to be an issue for the Northeast later on. I know, as we're looking toward next week, we're going to be watching things, off the different radar sites here. And then I see this updated this morning now. So the latest information now was to cancel out the areas that were under this in Jefferson and McCullough, but they're continuing Lafayette, Madison, and Taylor until 5:30. They be in the National Weather Service in Tallahassee. So again, we're just going to keep looking at this here. Gonna keep tracking, keep checking. I know the next time it's time for a warning here, as you're looking at on I-10, it'd be up to Jacksonville to issue a warning here if we were to get one for Suwanee and Hamilton. So we'll see if they do that or not. Right now, I feel like we're kind of just under severe though with these winds, but still may have had some damage there. Something happened in terms of winds toward Woodville. So something in terms of some power outages. So again, 429, it's a severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect here until 5:30. Severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from 10 miles north of Madison to 32 miles southeast of Caravel. Are moving east at 40 miles an hour. Hazard 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. Mayo over toward Perry, Steenhampton, Madison, Greenville, Lee, Pineland, Jug Island, Panetta, Scanlon. You kind of get the idea here as we're looking on the situation here and the latest coming in the airport area on Perry, San Pedro Junction, Hampton Springs, Mosley Hall, Lloyd, and Smith here. So again, trying to give you guys the very latest here in the overnight hours. I don't see a lot of rotation. I think I hear maybe, let me double check our radar before I say this. I think I heard, yeah, we are getting a little bit of rain outside now where we're at here east of Stark. So I thought I heard some drips there, and that's exactly what the case is. Some rain dripping off the roof and the like here where we're at. It's kind of on the eastern fringes here of the overall setup, and the western side is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning activity at here at this point in time. So again, let me see here some other sources. I know we're going to watch Central Florida later on this morning. Bear with me here for the very latest. Again, checking here, we have a bunch of different systems. I know we have our cameras. We can look at from Florida 511. Also, just to check this video, any questions or comments here. See how many of you guys are tuning in here right now at this very early hour. It's not a tornado situation at this moment, so that's the good news. Not something we were trying to make too big of a deal about leading up to, because I think it's going to be a lower end type of threat for us compared to Tuesday, which could be one of the higher end type of threats you're going to ever see here in terms of severe weather activity. You know, Central Florida could get a tornado warning or two. We could still get one up here. It's definitely out of the question, but here, southern areas per se, if we can get some of that rotation to kind of get things down here toward the surface with the instability and conjunction. But again, right now, we're just going to keep looking at things. Let me see if we have another look at some cameras here or the like. I know we're just trying to give you guys a look here at exactly what is going on here this morning. It's very important to do that. And I'm going to see if we have anything maybe around Madison. And a lot of these cameras, it's just we don't have enough lighting. It's kind of hard. If we don't have lighting there, you really don't see a whole bunch. It almost, this is pretty good one with lighting, but I think we're too far, maybe still to really see a whole bunch, too far out ahead. But let me just kind of check some things here, make sure we're looking at things. It may not be too far ahead, actually. So this is getting closer there. This is mile marker 258 as we're kind of looking at things here. Stuff should deteriorate some here over the next few minutes. So there's some good lighting on this one at least. So you're able to see the wet roads out there. Just got to be careful. See some vehicles. So let's go ahead and pull it up. As we go ahead, I'll take the tips off for now. As we go ahead and go full here to this, you'll be able to see what we're talking about. Florida 511 perspective here. You see some of the trees blowing a little bit out there. See some of that rain kind of blowing around and the like here. I know I'm looking at camera, Missouri traffic cameras here overnight. Seeing some of that snow there on the side, maybe not as much on the roads, depending on where you're at because of the temperatures, but seeing that on the side and the grassy areas and the like, but not wintry weather around here in our local region. We're talking about severe weather potentially. Very low risk, but it's not zero. We have a warning until 5:30 for parts of our areas of Lafayette, Madison, and Taylor. Some of these areas more impacted by Idalia than others in our area. So these areas could be a little more vulnerable to a tree limb, maybe been leaning for a while, maybe that gust of wind during this event or the next event on Tuesday pushes that over. So again, pushes a tree like that over. As we're looking, you don't see a whole bunch here, quite honestly, but you see at least it's a brighter view because a lot of those views, there's not as much light out there this time of night along I-10 on the camera views anyway. So again, we're just kind of giving you guys the very latest here on what's happening. We're trying to give you guys the very latest here to protect you, protect your friends, protect your family. Again, definitely going to be seeing deteriorating conditions here toward this area over the next few minutes. And you can see some vehicles out there right now, the folks that maybe are needing to be on the roads there or are just on the road. Just still kind of is at the tail end of the holiday travel season. So some folks might be headed back here into Ward Town. So again, we're just going to continue to watch things here in the Weather Center. Again, morning. Mayo, Perry, Madison under this here till 5:30 officially. Some of the areas to be trimmed out earlier on, but still, again, we're watching things. We're tracking them here in the Weather Center. You see some of that lighting on that truck. They're kind of lighting up some of those blowing downpours, and then you see some more of that activity there in this view right now as we're looking live there on this Florida 511 viewpoint outside. It's got to be kind of careful out there as I know second a week of the year coming up, and that's one on Tuesday again. It's gonna be the bigger event overall. Can't discount something from this event still causing some problems, but the Tuesday event, at least right now, things can always change. So stay tuned for the latest updates. But Roy want to drive home the point. This is not the main event here. Tuesday looks to be the main event. There could be more than one layer to that event, even in terms of maybe supercells that points into the squall line maybe later on with some embedded tornadoes. So gonna really have to pay attention to Tuesday. Could be, I mean, I said it on our cover Thursday night, but it could be a really serious day here across our region. So again, we're just gonna go ahead and keep looking at things. This traffic camera view, I know things will be deteriorating on this here for the next few moments. It's not like I have somebody in the back though where I can go between cameras here, or I have to kind of go while I'm talking. So that's why I kept this up so long here to see. At least you can kind of see how things are looking right out ahead of some of the worst of this potentially. Again, it may not be too terrible here toward areas, but I mean, some folks have lost power, so just got to keep that in mind here this morning as we're looking at the very latest. Information coming on in here toward the Weather Center of Powder.us right now, so on 3,288 customers of that electricity in the state. A lot of those there, McCulloch County 1,117, Leon 1,168, a lower percentage than McCulloch, 73 in Jefferson, 213 in Franklin, 21 in Taylor. So again, continue to track things. Let me see what else we might have for you guys. I'll take this one away for the time being, I think. As we kind of go back over to the Doppler perspective for the moment, you can see where things are on the radar. And we're just going to keep checking things out there. Okay, looks like maybe a few miles further west, things look a little bit more hazardous. And it's kind of hard to see stuff part of it at night, but part of it just it looks like heavier downpours maybe coming into play here. So this is mile marker 250 on the Florida 511 view here. You can definitely see here how things are coming on down. See some of those flashing lights on the vehicles and some issues maybe even with power in that camera, not really sure, but you kind of get the idea here of some nastier conditions out there in the Big Bend right now. for folks having to, if it's not severe or even officially in terms of damage and weather, even though we had the warning them, boy, you're still going to have problems maybe getting around here this morning on those area roads. So just got to keep that in mind here. Definitely could have some car accidents, vehicle accidents here, as we have these nasty conditions here in play right now. So again, definitely folks having to take it slow out there. I mean, you can tell everybody with their flashers on. They've been seeing some nasty, nasty activity here on the roadway here this morning, it would seem. Just trying to be seen, I guess, at this point in these type of situations. So, again, just continuing to watch, continuing to track. I'm going to keep looking at the data coming in. Again, you can see what we're talking about here. A lot of those flashing lights, for sure. And so I take it easy. You don't want to have any accidents here happen in our area in these type of inclement conditions, but they're definitely a possibility. So again, let me go ahead and I'll move away from this shot for now as we keep looking at things. Some of these shots aren't as bright as others, so I kind of hesitate here too much moving away here from ones that actually give you a pretty good view here, because this time of night it's definitely harder to find stuff as well as that on these camera views, but some of them are really helpful. I mean, those two there have been really helpful here, giving us the latest. I'm just looking here if we have anything else in this. We kind of look as we kind of track. Again, a lot of these are not as clear on the overall inclement activity. They kind of maybe tell the story a little bit different than what it really looks like at ground level. So I kind of hesitate pulling some of them up. But again, let me go ahead and pull up this one here then. This will be mile marker 257. Let's jump on over here. Again, this is I-10 at mile marker 257. You can definitely see the nighttime conditions here in play. And definitely I'm seeing some of those wet roads out there. Just be careful on the roads here this morning. So again, we're going to keep tracking all that. Again, I know we go a lot more in depth on severe thunderstorm warnings than most folks here. Just giving you guys a heads up. We don't have any tornado warnings. Haven't had any yet. We hope not to have any here anywhere, obviously. But at least in our area, the chances of those happening are lower versus what I think maybe towards central to South Florida later on this morning. Maybe even in the afternoon a bit there in the timeline. But again, continuing to watch and continuing to track here. Let me go ahead and jump on over here to other source. Okay, got a gust of 39 or so around Perry. They're not into the worst of this yet either, so that's kind of interesting how this is kind of set on up here. 39 minor Augusta around Perry about 8 minutes ago. Sustained wind south-southeasterly direction at 27. You can see around Madison there. I know we have some winds there around 40 or so, maybe. So on up here on some of our scans, and I see the number of 40 here showing up on our data from the Jacksonville office. They're saying significant advisory now for parts of Hamilton, northwest Hamilton, until 5:30. So they're kind of edging away from us in a severe thunderstorm warning themselves right now. That's some good news for folks in Hamilton County. Kind of what it looks like we're seeing more of the significant weather advisory type of winds versus severe thunderstorm warning type of winds. But still, we haven't had too many warnings around lately, and I know it's always about getting you guys up to date here with the latest, and even just letting you guys know they need to be aware of Tuesday here. Some very wicked weather coming on through. We'll probably get an update from Storm Prediction Center here pretty soon on that. It may not still be on the air when that comes out for the Tuesday update. You can get the latest on those outlooks here when we're not on clutter.com/severe. But if it happens to come across here early, so I'm thinking about wrapping this up here pretty soon as we're looking at things and then coming back as needed. Since we got a new advisory, it makes me think Jacksonville's not going to go unless I see a whole bunch of an uptick here in the action. Let's see if thunderstorm warnings here, because I don't think these winds are quite strong enough further off toward the east and We can always come back on though if we need to. We'll be watching here like we have been all morning, all overnight long here in the Weather Center. But probably going to wrap it here soon. I know we keep saying that, but this one here on the side of Costin, I think that's the 39 in Perry is interesting enough. Let me go ahead and see if we have some cameras down there. So let's see if we can get some of those views. These are Florida 501 views, of course, but as we're looking, I know we have some different views we're showing during Idalia and the like, and some of these areas still could be a little more vulnerable from what happened during Idalia. So again, just bear with me here. We'll effort some of those views here. It's a pretty clear view. Not seeing a whole bunch of wind right now, but let me go ahead and take us down toward the Perry area right now in Taylor County. And you can see here, this is US 19/98 at Main Street. Definitely seeing some of that rain coming on down. Gotta be careful on those slick roads here this morning with these type of conditions around. So let's be extra careful out there this morning. The thunderstorm will remain in effect for another 45 minutes or so as we're looking at things down there. So again, this is the Byron Butler Parkway. You're seeing folks try to effort really through this here per se. Try to really persevere through the activity here with the downpour and the radar, and maybe even nastier conditions coming over the next few moments. So again, let's go ahead and move away from this shot right now, though. I know, sticking with you, just a one-man band here, at least at this moment. Again, trying to give you guys the very latest on what's happening. Again, we're going to keep tracking things. A lot of times we stick with these here when we have these situations that even if it's a severe thunderstorm warning versus like a tornado warning, but other times we'll wrap it up here. And this is right on the edge of that. There's different factors say go one way with this, and then there's others like the Idalia vulnerability here, and that say go another way with this. The factors that say, just to kind of wrap it up, is we're not seeing a lot of those type of winds really being reported down to the surface towards 60 miles an hour, but we have had some gusts in the 40 range, and that definitely could be something where we had some issues with those. But then maybe we had a gust embedded in there where we didn't have a sensor that caused some issues like around Woodville and the like, and still some isolated scattered power outages. Definitely a possibility. I see that advisory. It's kind of interesting where they issued that at. So they issued on the northwestern part of Hamilton. They're looking at this maybe and seeing that more as an issue than this area down here, maybe. It's hard to say here as we're looking at things this morning, but again, just continuing to watch. I'm going to go ahead and keep looking. I'm going to go ahead and keep looking at what's going on and try to give you guys the latest for the next few moments. Again, I'm going to check here, see if any new power outage updates here coming on in. Again, I'm going to go ahead and look here. We have this severe thunderstorm warning up for another officially looks like 42 minutes or so. It's in effect right now. We're looking off the Moody radar, by the way, if you're wondering now. I switched over for a moment at least. You can see some stuff there over on US 98 west of Perry. And again, we're tracking all of that action for you. Now, this time of year, we don't have these warnings near as often as like during the summer. And in the summer, you're not going to generally have too often warnings like this during the overnight hours. But again, we're in this winter month here of January, and we have this severe thunderstorm warning on play right now that we're tracking. I'm just checking everything on out here with our different data sources to see exactly what's going on. I'm just going to go ahead and see here what's happening. Again, we're on I-10, definitely some nastier weather. We were showing you some examples of that a moment ago as we're looking. So we have real new outages showing up there toward Madison County. None at this point, but 51 customers in the dark in Taylor. So a few customers added to the outage report out of that area, according to PowerData.us. Again, we're just going to keep checking, keep tracking here. Again, I'm just kind of curious how they issue this advisory because I'm not sure how they're going to handle this. I feel like maybe they're kind of leaving themselves open still. The Jacksonville office just seen a thunderstorm warning toward the Live Oak here, and I hate to jump off here and then have to jump right back in the middle of the night here. It's not like a tornado warning. We hate waking too many folks up here, especially on multiple notifications here and the like. So let's just stick with this to see if they issue something off of this, because there's at least a chance they issue a thunderstorm warning for Live Oak here over the next few minutes at Jacksonville office. So just something to kind of keep our eyes on here in the Weather Center, and just kind of see how this progresses. Again, around period, a little bit of weak rotation, but I don't know, we're really not in the greatest setup for that to really get down here to be any tornadic. Or most of our covered area, I don't see near as much rotation as I saw earlier out here, so that might be some good news here for our zone. Again, we'll have to watch Tampa later. I was looking at the radar hours ago and couldn't see stuff, but now I think we can see stuff better. I'm looking behind the scenes, you can see this line here. There's been an issue down there toward the central and southern part of the state here. Some of this you can't really see, but we'll be watching that. Maybe some of that in our far southern zones here. We'll have to still watch as I know our different views try to kind of put the picture all together here at points like our overall base reflectivity view over on GR Earth. So let's pull that up. You can see what we're talking about there. Again, even if we have severe weather like around Stark or Gainesville or Lake City, still going to have some gusty winds here, heavy rain, some lightning. So this is something that could be an issue if you're out really early, but it's to get out of here pretty quick. So that's the good news here, folks. Let me real quick take off our radar here. Take off our radar. Again, we haven't had too much of this action lately, but this El Nino pattern that we're in, eventually we've been kind of maybe due for stuff like this to come into play, and this is the beginnings of it, more so as we look toward next week and Tuesday, maybe even late week now. It's looking more likely some severe weather as well, at least a possibility toward the area, but those details will be refined here as we look at things. But this is 7 a.m. You see, this is what the model is forecasting here with the progression of things. 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. You see how things move out pretty quick in our area, but down toward the south, they kind of still linger. Some of this hopefully is overdone a bit, extending it this far out. But definitely something to look at here as we're looking at some of our model guidance. Back to the current view now. Again, we're trying to give you guys the latest here on what's going on. Again, trying to give you the latest right now to protect you, your friends, and your family. Again, may not be severe winds in here. They may not extend a warning, but it is a well-defined kind of shift here from light rain to heavy rain, which could be a sign of some gustier winds at least getting down toward the surface here, just east of Lee, moving toward New Bern there, and Live Oak over the next little bit. So just keep that in mind. By the way, while we're on it, let's go ahead and talk about, we just got a new risk in for a Tuesday here, still at 15% for areas around Jacksonville, Tallahassee, and Tampa here. So I don't have that too often. Haven't got up to 30% yet. They didn't increase it on the day 3, so kind of thinking they weren't going to increase it on the day 4, but that just came out. So let's go ahead and kind of read over this here. If we can, look like some of that's still trying to trickle into the system here, but this the overall details that we have the new risk in are there. So again, gotta keep his tornado safety tips in mind as we look ahead there toward next week, toward that Tuesday. A little bit today we'll watch, but toward that Tuesday, that risk of severe weather, I mean, it's there as we look all the way from central to South Florida, south of Tampa. I mean, we're talking about Sarasota over to the Space Coast, or all the way up into North Carolina, southeast and east central per se, give or take North Carolina, with a risk here on Tuesday. So let's kind of read this verbatim here to some degree for that Tuesday. I don't have a graphic or anything I can go to. That's why we're doing it like this. But medium range models indicate, according to Storm Prediction Center, that rapid, strong surface cyclogenesis will proceed across the Ozark Plateau, mid-south, northeast eastward there through the lower Ohio Valley during the day Tuesday. Why the looks like the associated mid-level trough axis takes on an increasingly negative tilt. And we're getting real technical here. This is toward the east area of the Mississippi Valley. We're talking about a situation here. We're talking about a situation here where intense wind fields are forecast to overspread much of the eastern Gulf, so southern Atlantic coast region, accompanied by a moistening and at least weekly destabilizing warm sector. And it appears that this will include 50 to 80 knots south to southwesterly flow, and the 150 to 700 millibar later, contributing to very large clockwise curved low-level photographs, aided by, it looks like, a strong large-scale forcing for ascent. The evolution of an extensive squall line with embedded and preceding discrete supercell structures may be ongoing early Tuesday across parts of the eastern Gulf states to the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. This seems likely to pose a continuing risk for damaging wind gusts and a few tornadoes while accelerating northeastward and eastward through much of the remainder of the southeast by Tuesday evening. So again, gonna be watching that, and it looks like thereafter a short wave develops. Their developments probably become more unclear, and that's into our next weekend. However, following renewed application within the persistent split flow across the eastern mid-latitude Pacific models do suggest there that additional strong cyclogenesis is possible, and that's across the northeast of northeast of the lower Mississippi Valley by late next Thursday night into Friday and Saturday. So just giving you a heads up there. Okay, we just got a new update on our severe thunderstorm warning here locally that we're on for here in the middle of the night. Let's go ahead and jump away from this graphic here and see that updated polygon coming on out here as we look at things. Still till 5:30. I know we have some of that action now getting over in toward the Jacksonville jurisdiction area per se, as we're looking at things in Hamilton County. I know we're starting to hear the rain pick up right here in Bradford County, but we're still a ways away from the stronger convection that may try to work its way on in here. A couple hours or so is what we were showing you on that model, and give or take. But you have this warning continuing out here. I know the movement, according to the Weather Service, in Tallahassee is east at 30 miles an hour. So, I mean, generally here, that's about 2 hours or so. Let me see here. 2 to 3 hours from the Stark area here based on that at this moment. So, again, I'm just going to keep watching, keep tracking here. Again, that warning, 455, severe thunderstorms located along the line, extending from 7 miles northwest of Blue Springs to 37 miles west of Steinhatchee, moving east at 30 miles an hour. Mayo, Madison, Perry, Steinhatchee, Lee, Pineland, Jug Island, over toward Buckville. You have the Jack, Lee Island area. You have Salem and Hanson, the airport area. In Perry, San Pedro Junction, Hampton Springs, Sermons, Sadie Grove, and Cedar Island. So, again, just continuing to watch, continuing to track here this morning. Giving you guys the very latest. Again, we're just going to keep checking things here. I'm just going to keep looking here at the very latest. You can see some of this heavier rain there on Lee. And this, I know sometimes these views take a couple minutes there on this update. It's a little behind, but the other view a little bit more indoor, live type of viewpoint. But I know where Bradford County is starting to get some of the heavier rain to edge on in here. That's the composite view. It kind of shows that, I mean, this is the type of rain that I'm kind of hearing per se, intensity level versus this seems to be running a couple minutes behind there. But again, just kind of giving you guys an idea. Yeah, you can see that on another view if you're just waking up early. No warnings towards Stark right now. The warning that we have, severe thunderstorm warnings toward Lafayette, Madison, and Taylor counties is till 5:30. The second of the warnings we had here is extension really of things that were in play till a little bit earlier on this morning, 4:15 I think it was, here with that first warning. So again, that's kind of storyline right now as we're looking at things, as we give you guys the latest updates. This is just some rain here, not too much wind, maybe a little bit. I'm looking over my anemometer here. Yeah, 2-3 miles an hour is where I'm seeing at 6 feet. But we'll go back out toward the west now. If you're just tuning in while you're wondering why we're on here at this point in time at 5 in the morning, well, we've been tracking some severe thunderstorm potential out of the west. You see a new gust down to 41 at the Perry Airport, so picking up some in here. But definitely some stronger wind gusts. I know as you get further to the north, the chance of severe weather is lower today here, as the overall pattern of instability kind of precludes here the lack thereof. The threat getting further up toward the north into Tallahassee. Threats really ending for you guys there because the line's kind of pushed on threat into the wind direction. It's not shifting completely yet, but the severe threat really wrapped up for you guys out there toward Leon County. But as we're looking here toward Perry, a little bit of rotation shown on the Moody radar. I know you're seeing here some of this wind. We haven't had a new warning issued yet. Be curious to see if they issued another advisory. I'm surprised we haven't had an advisory at least issued for Live Oak. I just wonder where they're going with this because I hate to wrap and then we have a warning issued for Live Oak here. They may not even go to an advisory. And we didn't have an advisory, we went straight to a warning further back toward the west here. So not really sure where we're going on the scale per se, because it's kind of not really easy to tell because it's based on if you think this stuff is surface based or not. I know. I mean, let's see here. I just want to look at some information here. We're looking. I mean, right now it's a pattern here where it's a matter of how much. I mean, we're getting some wind. You saw it on our cameras. We had some power outages. It's really the intensity of the wind, 40 to 50. Is something that we can handle a little bit better. Really stronger winds. You don't have much power outages. With that, not technically severe, but when you get to 60, that's severe. You have more power outages and more damage potential. So, just have to be kind of mindful here. The threshold could kind of vary here by area per se. As we're looking at things, as we're watching, as we're tracking here, I know 3,636 customers in the dark here this morning in the state of Florida. 221 in Taylor County now, according to Power.us, 141 in Jefferson, 6 in Madison, looks like a number of 1,157 in Leon, 1,117 in McCullough, 213 in Franklin. So, our system's on rotation in Hamilton. I don't really see a lot there, and it probably wouldn't be surface-based anyway, even though that looks like if you're just looking on reflectivity and don't know the situation, you might think this is something that's a little more significant, but still some heavier rain, gustier winds over toward the I-75 corridor, but don't really think we have too much there in terms of like tornadic potential with that here at this point. Still wouldn't want to expect thunderstorm warning though, being issued by Jacksonville's office here. Jacksonville office there of responsibility. So again, I know. Let's see here. I know Taylor County, Lafayette County, Madison, they're all in Tallahassee, but Hamilton, Swanee, they're in Jacksonville. So different folks, different meteorologists issuing the warnings here. And right now, Jacksonville went with an advisory here, kind of right on the marginal side, going for a marginal risk of severe weather, whether it's severe or not, is kind of the question. And right now, at least it seems like we've seen that delineation here, the wind shift per se, kind of move off, which makes me think right now they're edging not toward issuing anything as we're looking toward Live Oak. But still some gusty winds out there. Be careful out there this morning around Live Oak. Probably, I mean, if you're having to go out now, I mean, you kind of are in a situation here where, well, I mean, it's just, it's based on the time of day, you just have to. But most of you probably don't have to go out right now. And if you can avoid going out at this moment, then it would be best to do so. Okay, they did go with the significant advisory now for Swanee and Hamilton until about 5:45. There's a chance that they could, Tallahassee, extend some stuff here over a bit, but I'm not sure they would. But you see this new advisory now, gust about 40, moving northeast at 55 miles an hour. So we're talking about Live Oak, Jasper, White Springs, Swanee Springs, over toward Dallin Park. I know they got hit so hard by Idalia there. We looked at some of that damage there going back in the timeline. You have Belmont, New Bern, and all these areas got hit pretty hard to some degree on that higher end impact level. But I know I got to see firsthand some of that impact around Dallin Park there, and you see how they're right now on the edge of that warning. Some winds coming through, maybe hopefully not too strong down there, but they really got hit hard back in August there at the end of the month. And you can see some of those damage photos there, clutter.com/tropics. And if you kind of scroll through, that's something you can find over there. That's clutter.com/tropics, and you'll see a dahlia there. The picture of it is a local photo gallery, and then you click through. It's not the second photo, maybe the third photo. Some of those oyster beach in there, but if you keep going, you'll eventually get a Dowling Park in there. A couple photos, photo 11 and 12, it looks like in here as I'm looking at it. That's over on the website. So, again, something to kind of keep in mind. And you have some damage from live oak here as you go over to like photos 14 and 13 as well. So, again, kind of giving you guys an idea there. I'll send the photo gallery there, clutter.com/tropics. But again, I'm just trying to give you guys an idea here of what's going on. I hear the rain picking up where we're at. No severe weather where we're at right now. Can't completely rule out something, but chances are pretty low again. This area up here is not really toward a risk area as much because we weren't expecting things to be a surface based, maybe really at all. Maybe as we got further on up here, and that's kind of where Weather Service is going with that in Jacksonville. I think maybe they're ready. They're issuing these. Maybe they're wanting to make sure this stuff down here doesn't need a warning in case it's a little bit closer to some energy. Maybe that's how they're issuing them, kind of going from north to south to see what the situation looks like. I'm not seeing much energy though on my system here as we get further up toward the north at this point in time. So you see more of that energy down here, and then this extends further down as our satellite product will show here. So that's something to watch further down in the state out of our area, but we'll watch it just in case here something really gets crazy. But probably more of an issue for local meteorologists in those areas. But still, if something gets really crazy, we'll make sure we're letting you guys know on some of the different platforms here, at least there. I know you have Twitter there at Cloud Casey. That's the X platform now. I know that many folks call that. But again, continuing to watch, continuing to track here. Again, we'll keep looking to see if there's reports of anything. Sometimes you can get some issues even when you're not necessarily expecting them here, based on the overall setup. But the warning continues to the west. At this point, I'm actually seeing, I'm going to check Tallahassee, but it seems like the heavier wind axis might be further to some degree to the east here to Tallahassee River. So some wind in there. It seems like the Moody radar is kind of seeing more of the wind out here where we don't have the warning, but none of it looks quite as severe. Doesn't mean it couldn't be severe in a very localized fashion. That's why you have the alerts here in play from time to time. I think we're going to wrap it up for now. We're going to keep you guys up to date here if needed. Again, if you don't have to come back on these stuff, cloudweather.com /radar here for an interactive look at things. So cloudweather.com and the radar tab there. And this warning still goes in the yellow box for the 22 minutes. You have the advisories there to go, 5:45 for areas of northern Suwanee and Hamilton, and 5:30 for northwestern Hamilton. We could get some upgrades out there to warnings. If so, we'll let you know at the very least with a posting about it on Facebook and Twitter there. But more than likely, based on exactly what the situation is, we'll probably jump in here. It just kind of depends on exactly the population density, the overall echoes here to potential for rotation and the like. And if we get damage reports, it is interesting to see Augusta 41 around Perry, but I'm not 100% sure. It might be more an indication here that the winds are kind of more spread out here and not really focused in what you've seen as severe thunderstorm situation. I know we have had some wind advisory information coming on out here this morning and have that for coastal Taylor. Maybe not as far inland at Perry though, but definitely significant advisory type conditions. It's not sure if it's quite just severe, but we need to stay on with it. If we get more information that tells us otherwise, we'll jump back in here though as we try to watch things this morning. And be careful, still getting a little nasty here this morning towards dark, even though we'll have a warning or an advisory. Maybe around 7 to 8 a.m., give or take. Could come a little earlier. We're already getting into some of the moderate downpour action now, so things kind of shift around in the timeline here. Could come a tad earlier, but Probably 7 to 8 a.m. is what we're kind of looking right now in that timeline. So, again, we're going to keep you guys up to date if it's necessary. More cut-ins, more coverage. Let me see if there's any comments or questions here from any of the viewers this morning that are of note here where I need to check, see anything, and talk about anything in particular. I don't see anything right now here over the last little bit, but just again, thanks so much everybody for tuning in. And I know if you're watching like Southwest Georgia and the like, here it's a situation where you're not too concerned about things here from this event. The threat's over for you guys around Bainbridge here and Thomasville and the like. I mean, even our other South Georgia county, not really much of a threat here. The rain's still falling, but I know as we look toward Tuesday, could be a far different story. So as we leave you here with that note in mind, we see multiple ways to get alerts ahead of Tuesday, which could be very significant that day across the area. Hopefully it's not, but anywhere in the southeast, to some degree, it could be significant. Monday night into Tuesday, be paying attention here. And mobile homes are not the best places to be in tornadic situations. So Tuesday to the 9th, we're concerned to set up for someone in the southeast to get a strong tornado is there. I mean, probably going to have multiple strong tornadoes late Monday into Tuesday here. Somewhere in a strong range here is what we're expecting here toward the southeast. So you got to really be keeping that in mind as we keep watching the storms this morning. Again, that warning's still in effect out there to the west, Lafayette, Madison, Taylor counties till 5:30. If we have more information here that tells us we need to jump back in, we will. But otherwise, we hope you guys enjoy your Saturday out there across our region. Stay safe.